so many of these laws that kept our people incarcerated for many, many years for the smallest amounts of crack cocaine versus powder cocaine have now been overturned without us really knowing. I think that the message in hip hop, it keeps these issues brought to the forefront. So it's an amazing population that these hip hoppers reach.
Mm-hmm. So, John, now using the power of hip hop in NASCAR, do you find yourself, where do you find yourself in that? Do you find yourself being pushed out, being the only black owner? What's happening? Are they discriminating against you? Is it for you, against you, and how can we utilize it?
All right, as a whole, NASCAR Corporation wants the hip-hop industry to be involved because they need the hip-hop industry, because now you got CMOs and you got CEOs that look at NASCAR and they don't see the demographic of what the whole, United States looks like. They only see one demo. So they want more of us down there. And for me, for hip-hop, growing up, I mean, I grew up like watching all entrepreneurs like Russell, Damon Dash, Puff, all them. Those are the guys who I looked up at as being entrepreneurs, and I just want to bring it to the next level for the kids coming below me, that they can just keep it moving and build. They might want to be a soccer team owner. You don't never know. But I think we need to diversify just as a group, as a culture, and use hip hop as the engine to make it move the right way.
So now, Rob, you have one of the biggest hip hop channels on the
smart TVs, yeah. The Roku, the Apple, the smart TVs.
Right. So now, and that's like having a Netflix channel, correct?
Pretty much.
How do we utilize that for what you do? So you help artists, you help upcoming artists, entrepreneurs, and businesses expand their network. How do we utilize you to be the Netflix of hip hop?
Well, we kind of call ourselves the Netflix of hip hop because we have such an array. Now, when we started our network in 2011, one of the first things I thought about is how are we going to attract people? We're a brand new network. No one knew what Roku was. No one knew what Apple TV was back then. So it's not just selling my network. It's actually trying to sell the product as well. So the first thing I started to do was picking up existing catalogs. There was a show back in the 80s and 90s called Dance Party USA and Dancing on Air, which had every major hip-hop artist was on the show, and no one's seen the footage since it went off the air in 91. So I picked up the rights to that. And I started picking up different things to bring in the audience, because if you have a platform that no one's visiting, what's the point? So my strategy was building the following first, then we started to open up the more independent artists, concerts, interviews, music videos, and stuff like that, and then trying to stay ahead of the curve. So now we look at, now everyone knows what Roku is, and everyone knows what Apple TV is, and everyone's getting on there, fine, but we were the first one on there, so our audience is humongous. So now we're always, okay, we've been there, done that, what's next? And you always have to stay ahead of the curve, because at the end of the day with artists, I mean, right now, if one artist breaks through YouTube, everyone tries to go to YouTube. If one artist breaks on SoundCloud, everyone tries to go to SoundCloud. You have to be the artist to be the first one to really do it to get the attention, if they got other places to go. So right now, Spotify is the big thing. Shazam is a big thing. People don't realize how big Shazam is right now as a platform. So we try to help people get discovered through smart TVs. There's over 60 million households right now between Roku and Apple just in the US. But we're also built into 18 of the biggest smart TVs around the world, streaming 24/7. As well as our TV show, our hip-hop show, airs on broadcast TV all over the world. So we're not a YouTube show. We're an actual physical broadcast TV show. And we built the program, the network, around having the show, building that fan base, branding the name, and taking it to there. So we do a lot. And then we have the music distribution as well, too. I have 400 artists that are signed to me, so it's not just getting the visual, but it's getting the sound out there and try to figure out, if this is the artist, how can we attack from all angles? Because the level of threshold of marketing is hearing something 3 times. You want to make sure you see it's the artist 3 different times.
Okay. And Ian, so you have a real estate company, young man, using the power of hip hop. Why did you choose this angle, and what are the ramifications if we get on board and really start getting into real estate in the future?
Well, the first thing I want to address the political aspect of things. Did you guys know that Jineea ran for office in Harlem recently. Let's give her a round of applause.
As a Republican, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Yeah. It's okay.
But
It's okay.
But one of the most powerful things that I think she said during her run was that the birthplace of hip hop, the place where hip hop has expanded globally, and everybody in the world knows hip hop, but the birthplace of hip hop is struggling financially. Like, how does that happen, right? Like, how is it that people are making money, labels are making money? You know, this message. I mean, we were just in the Bahamas. We just came back yesterday. And the craziest thing that I've ever seen, there was this yacht with like a bunch of like teenage white boys dancing, and they were rocking a Jay-Z in the Bahamas, like booming it. Look at dancing in the corner. And it was like, yo, this hip hop is global. So I think as a culture, as a community, like I'm all about us coming together and coming together for a cause that makes sense for us. You know, we come together to promote Gucci and Louis Vuitton and all these other things in our songs, but we should be coming together to promote causes that allow our people to thrive. And that's what I'm all about. So what was this first question you asked me?
You answered the first question about utilizing hip hop, but what if we get involved in real estate, if we jump on board and we really start, because we really need to be looking at land, water, oil, resources for ourselves. So like right now we have to understand that, you know, there's a war going on that no one is safe from. And we've got to safeguard our future. Like I said, I ran for Congress in Harlem as a Republican because we've got to balance the field. We can't all be Democrats and think that everything is going to work out for us. We've got to have somebody that we can trust wherever we are. We cannot limit ourselves. We can't say, why are you limiting us, and then limit ourselves. We can't do that to ourselves. So we have to begin to open up at two things. And the way that we live, the hip hop community, Jay-Z will probably say that he's not a Republican at this point, but the hip hop community, you know, I feel like a black Republican, money I got coming in, is very Republican-esque in the way that we move. And so we've got to get involved in the political process in a way where we're understanding what we're doing, what we're talking about, and why we're talking about it, right? And so all these people are doing all this stuff over our heads, but we're not in the conversation. That's a problem. We can't resist the conversation because now we resist ourselves. I'm not saying we have to like anyone and we don't have to agree, but we have to make sure that our communities are growing no matter what. And that's by any means necessary. So that's where I stand, and that's where I stood as running. And it changed the conversation in America about black Republicans, because why should I be ashamed about what I believe in? I believe in low taxes. I think everybody in here believes in low taxes. Now, I believe that everybody should have health care, and there's some things that we should do, but I believe in small business. How many entrepreneurs here are in the room? A lot of entrepreneurs in the room. The hip-hop community is an entrepreneurship style community. And so just as you see each one of these different entrepreneurs, we have to make sure that we also get capital investments into our community. We have to make sure that the money is flowing to us. And that means that every conversation we need to be in, every table we need to have a representative. And we've got to know what we're talking about. So that's what I was saying, Ian. So let me just jump down to Mike really quick, Mike and Maya. And so now as entrepreneurs stepping out in the field where there's not that many black cannabis owners, CBD owners, talk about that, will you, for a second? And then I want to bring up Manuel Ayala, AKA Mad Dog, for him to talk about the process of marketing as well. And then we're going to bring in Master P and Reverend Jackson as well.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to pass it to Maya soon, but we do have a gift for everybody in here who wants a gift. If you're a smoker, we have that for you, and it's legal. We have our licenses here that you can take with you, no police issues. And then if you just want to try the gummies, you can try those too. But as far as the inequity that presents itself is in every state. You don't see that many people of color, women that own any dispensaries anywhere you go. So people brag about going to Vegas and going to these places, Colorado, but do you ever see people that look like you behind the counter if they're not working? You never see it. So when you talk about politics, it's very important to have your political connections when you apply for these licenses. Like, for instance, in the state of Michigan, and it's going to happen here, this is going to be a $1 billion industry in New York alone. It's $1 billion for CBD, but it's going to be $22 billion in 2022. So if you take a piece of it, and we started with a few $100s. We're not up here flossing and saying we're millionaires. We actually last year started with a few $100s, and anybody in this room, you can do that. With $500 investment, get you a hemp license, you can turn that around. There's products that you get for $5 that you're selling for $50. That's a big gap compared to selling dope. I'm saying heroin, all that. So it's deep. So it's a lot to say, and it's a limited time, but what we're trying to really impress upon people, as we did when we got the first $100 we told people we was going to the moon, and then when we started getting to the moon, they started calling. I can't, I don't have this technology to call you back. But we just letting everybody in this room know that you all have an equal opportunity to get a foothold in your respective areas. Get in the store. We actually work with people and franchise what we're doing. We have a variety of products that we will work with people to help empower you as well, because it's not about us having this pyramid where it's the top, 2% making the money, then you exploiting the bottom, and that's the problem we've been having. And so when it comes to people of color owning things, we have to jump out in the front, and we did. If you Google 414 Hemp, you're going to see us as the first ones in, the state of Wisconsin and Milwaukee in particular that came out with this product and with this opportunity. And then we pioneered, so we galvanized it, and we're doing it for the future because, the U.S. Constitution was written on hemp. George Washington had a hemp farm, and 50 years ago, hemp was legal, and then the war on drugs started, and it changed the game. But now Trump, out of all people, made it legal because, again, white farmers are really struggling. Nobody drinking. We drinking soy, not even soy. We drinking a lot of almond milk now. People not drinking that milk no more. And so farmers are trying to find revenue streams, and hemp is one of them, industrial-wise, or if you have the different sativas, it's like the opposite cousins. This is the last thing I'm going to say about it, is that hemp and marijuana are cousins. They're in the same family. One cousin is productive, go to work every day. The other cousin playing video games, blow. So you know who marijuana is. Hemp, you still can, articulate yourself, like I said. But with marijuana, the way they make it now is not safe. It's just not safe no more. So you really have to have a balance, and that's what you'll get these days if you really do your research. So we'll talk more in the future, but I'm going to pass the mic so you can talk about it.
As far as the hemp industry and just having more black owners, more women owners, I always suggest farming. My heart is in farming, okay? Purchasing land, like real estate, very important. Now in the Farm Bill, they even got to where you can grow indoors. So real estate, land is very important, as well as learning how to grow again is very important. We've been farming for 10 years. We have a farm-to-table restaurant as well where we do organic soul food. That's what actually started us, and then we started growing hemp along with the produce that we grow. But I just suggest that people get back to the basics, learning how to grow, learning soil, and also looking into good products, because there's a lot of CBD out there, and it's a lot of CBD out there that does not give what the people want. So again, when you're looking for CBD products, please look for good products. You can look us up, 414 Hemp. We have our own products, our oil, as well as our hemp flower. And like Mike was saying, it is an emerging industry. Within 6 months, we opened up 5 locations. I mean, literally all over Wisconsin, 5 locations in 6 months. And we're actually having to pipe ourselves down to not keep going because people is really reaching out to us to come to their state and open up different stores and stuff. So when I tell you there's a lot of opportunity in the hemp industry, I just really suggest that everyone look into it and try to be a part of it.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm an avid supporter, just know that.
We got something
for years, and it's becoming a lucrative business, and I'm seeing the opportunities opening up. So I really commend y'all, and I thank y'all for giving us the opportunity to hear how we can, segue into this business. My name's Manny Mad Dog. I've been in the business for 30 plus years. Started street promotion back in the Uptown Record days. One of the pioneers of, if you see posters up, you see stickers up, you see hand-to-hand combat, things of that nature. We helped create that. Me and one of the brothers sitting in the panel right there. He knows how we used to do it back in the days. We was out in these streets hard. I'm gonna keep it short and brief. Like I said, I've been doing it for a long time. If you want to take conversation, let's do it. Me and Jineea started Hip Hop Union to be able to open up these conversations through different entities, different businesses, different avenues, platforms. And when I look around this room, I'm amazed. You know what I mean? Like, this is hip hop. This is the face of hip hop. This is what we look like these days. So I really want to ask a quick question of the panelists. Well, actually, two questions. Being that I come from a service industry, but you and I know, Sean, we also work products, right? Every product, every service starts with you. I don't care who you are, what you do, what you sell, what product you're giving. If people don't rock with you, they don't play with you, or they don't F with you the way we say in the streets, they're not gonna do business with you. I don't care what you got, what you pitching. I don't care about nothing. I gotta know you first. I gotta know what your vision is. I gotta know what your plan is first, whatever it's gonna be. So if I rock with you and you coming on, you got a pair of shoes, guess what? I'm flowing with you. Give me a pair of shoes, I'm gonna rock them every day for you, I promise. And I'm gonna make them something, all right? Now, what I wanted to ask between all the panelists, we all do marketing and promotion for products and services. What's the difference between marketing a product and marketing a service? Because we got different people here, right? Some people got product brands, things of that nature, right? And then some of y'all got different consulting companies and service companies and things of that nature. And in my opinion, there's different ways of marketing both. So whoever wants to start it off first, and let me know what you do in terms of how you do it.
Okay, so we market a service. So I think the thing about a service is like it's more of a long-term relationship between you and the client. So that part is very important to understand, that like you gotta constantly kind of hold hands or constantly be available for them to communicate with you if they have an issue and things of that nature. And that communication really allows you to that really is the lifeblood of your business. Like that's what creates referrals, etc. Within product, it's kind of a one-off. I mean, but you can have a product that sells for a lot of money and you make a lot at once, or in your business, you're selling volume, so it's still kind of a service business. So that to me is the main thing about marketing a product and a service, is the difference. And also with a service, I feel that it's more about, it's less about the product and more about the people involved. Like I know that with us, we've been able to really galvanize like we're continuing to galvanize a group of like dedicated fans who like just love what we do and love what we're about. But that's because we keep feeding them information that educates them on finance and music. Like just a couple things that I wanted to just mention, and I'll throw it to Rob. But essentially, like 73% of the wealthiest people in the world do real estate. Like period. They own property. They own land. If you own land, you can give these guys an opportunity to grow on your land, which they have to license from you, which you get paid forever. Or you can license a portion, depending on how big the land is. You can license a portion to Marriott or Hyatt or whatever the case may be. They have to pay you when you own the land. Like God is not making any more land. So when you own the land, you own the world, period. And us as a community, especially in the hip hop community, we kind of shy away from ownership in general. We don't want to own our masters. We don't want to own our publishing. We don't want to own the house that we live in. Everything is about renting and owning and let me get a quick buck and let me buy this chain. But my thing is, when you get to the basics, you talked about the basics of everything is real estate to me. And then everything else grows on top of it, whether it is digital real estate with what Rob is doing, or it's physical real estate, or what you guys are doing. Like, it all starts with ownership. So we need to retrain our mindsets to not be scared of ownership. I think a lot of that might have came when the market crash happened. Like, a lot of people lost their homes, and now everybody's scared, especially millennials. But we got to have a thought process where we buy low and then sell high. You don't get in when everybody's jumping into Brooklyn, so let me buy in Brooklyn and overpay, and then when the bubble pops, I have no money left. You get in when the market's crashed, you buy something for the low, and you allow that to ride. The second thing is I want to talk about is jewelry, because in the hip-hop industry, like, a lot of people like to shine and stuff like that. And it's like, jewelry is cool, but there's a reason why, like even though my pieces are small that I'm rocking right now, but everything's gold, right? Because gold always appreciates in value, right? So people, they buy diamonds and stuff like that. And it's funny, we're about to post this thing on Instagram soon, but basically it's the owner of a jewelry company talking about the difference between diamonds and gold. Gold, he had a certain amount of carats in gold, same amount of carats with gold and diamonds, and the gold was worth more. The diamonds shine more, but if you want to just liquidate, if you get in hard times and you need some quick money, that gold is what's going to pay you. So it's just about understanding how money works and where the money is, whether it's publishing masters, whether it's publishing music or in real estate or jewelry, understanding where it is and investing properly into yourself so you can build a legacy for your family in the future.
Yes, sir. Sean.
What was the question again? Right. This threw me off. I'm sorry.
How do you market services different from products?
Products are easy, but you would think it's
you think it's easy.
Yeah, but I mean, I gotta.
You make it easy. Go ahead.
But when I think of any product, first and foremost, you have to know your consumer. It's as simple as that. That's your starting place. Whatever your product is, if it's a can of soda, if it's a bottle of water, if it's alcohol, whatever it might be, who are you going after? You know, so often people begin marketing, they go with trends, and they miss the mark. They spend a lot of money in a lot of the wrong places, and they miss the mark. But secondly, outside of knowing your consumer, there has to be an authenticity. You know, especially if you're bringing a brand ambassador on board to help sell your product. You know, does this brand ambassador, whoever the celebrity might be, do they speak to my audience? Again, know your audience, and does this brand ambassador, the celebrity, do they innately, authentically speak to the consumer I'm trying to reach? So I think that is some of the areas that many companies go wrong in, because they just figure, hey, I'm gonna hire any old celebrity to help market my product, and they don't really mesh with the audience that they're trying, or the consumer base they're trying to go after. In terms of marketing a service, first and foremost, your work, whatever your service is. You know, I was in the service business for 20-something odd years. I almost didn't have to market my service. All of the marketing that we did for the products spoke for my service. We got more work from people calling us, people, referrals, based on how well we were marketing different brands and different products, because that was the marketing of our service. So I think if you are in a service business, number one, you have to be damn good at what you do. You have to be accountable. You have to have integrity. You have to really produce results for your clients. The best, and like Manny said, you know, we come from grassroots guerrilla alternative marketing. The best marketing on planet Earth is word of mouth marketing. How many movies have y'all gone to see based on somebody telling you that movie's dope? How many shows are you watching? Because right now we're hooked on This Is Us. I would have never thought I'd be watching This Is Us, but I kept hearing This Is Us, This Is Us. So now every night we're hooked on it because of word of mouth. No different than if you do a damn good job out there, whatever your service is, people talk, and they will refer you. So I would start there doing a great job, and believe me, the people who you work for are going to be the best ambassadors, the best marketing for your services you can get.
I'd like to piggyback off that a little bit. basically there always was a distinct thing between the product and the service, because basically the product was somebody else's face, the service is your face behind it. But now we're in a world with social media and, as you're saying, brand ambassadors, and now they're called social influencers. So basically now, even with the products, if it's a service, obviously we want to see the person. If something's bad, there's Yelp. We can look up if someone's good or bad, and now the people that are hired can make a better educated decision if they're going to hire this person. Now when it comes down to the product, again, we're back to the social influencers, the product. So everything now is kind of like either way. If it's a product, now we're still a little curious. Maybe we could see who the person who makes this product is. With so many entrepreneurs, I mean, now it's okay, here's the product. Well, this is the person. The second is his Instagram. Wow, I don't like what this guy posts. I mean, you see some of the stuff going on now with Gucci and some of these other products. And they're getting the plug put on them because of the fact that people can do their research and find different things. And I think now that it's you have to be more of a person of who you stand behind, because people are going to do your research and it is going to hurt your brand. So either way, if it's your service or if it's your product, you have to be good to whoever is coming to you.
Dope. I appreciate that. That's some good insight. I got another question, and I thank my man Calvin for this because he's very community oriented. And one thing that I've noticed about hip hop and urban in particular, we see the problem. We address the problem. We don't come up with a solution for the problem. We don't get our hands dirty. What are you individually doing? And we're gonna start right here. What are you individually doing to give back to the community that so much supports us? If it wasn't for y'all, if it wasn't for the kids that's coming up, the new millennials, most of us wouldn't have a job right now, be honest. So what are we doing to develop them, to give them the tools that they need to even be better than us and provide more for the future? Because you already know, and I'm going to take it back to something Jineea said earlier, can't nobody tell me hip-hop didn't put a president in the office, bottom line. Absolutely. You already know through our efforts and what we did. Absolutely. So it tells you that our voice is very strong and they pay attention and they're listening. So I want to know, as influencers and entrepreneurs, what are you doing to give back to your community and help develop the next generation?
Like I said before, I'm like working in Philly right now in the urban racing community STEM program to like build kids up, just show them that science and technology and math and all that stuff develops back into racing, and try to help them show like you can be in marketing and be in racing, you can be in PR. Just try to show them more outlets. And I feel like I come from one of the roughest neighborhoods in probably in this area, North New Jersey. So I know what happens in those neighborhoods. I know kids don't look at something beyond what happens on our block. So going back to I go back to a lot of schools, a lot of the high schools, and talk to the kids and try to show them early of other ways to get out of that feeling of not being able to get out, but selling drugs or crime or anything like that. Just try to show them another way out of that through stuff that they already like.
Can I just piggyback off what he said before, as far as the products and everything? I think he kind of hit it on the head, because nowadays, even with products, it really is more about selling your services. There's so many products nowadays. This is not 15, 20, 30 years ago when people were coming out with new products. You've never seen it before, and it was just hot because it was. Nowadays, anybody can make anything. And it really is more about your service. And me coming from the automotive industry for the last 16, 17 years, even when it comes to selling cars nowadays, it's more about what you can do for them after that. What is their experience going to be like with you? What is the servicing going to be like with you? And one thing I always made sure to tell customers is, listen, I understand I'm not going to sell everybody a car. I'm not going to sell everybody service. I know that, but I want to make sure that my employees treated you with respect. They answered all your questions, and they were able to accommodate your needs for the day. And that will sell you, that will sell you more cars or whatever product it is, more than just having the new hottest thing, out there. People do really want to be treated with respect. They want to know that you're about values, that you have integrity, and that you're going to follow up on your word and you'll be there for them. And it's really more about those things nowadays. To answer the other question as far as what we're doing nowadays, I mean, the next generation is really the most important thing out there right now, I'll be honest with you. And we've done everything from doing an event called Box It Up in the Monmouth County area in Freehold at my cousin's gym out there, where we just held an event. It was an event series where we had dancers, singers, and it was a lot of minority kids, Black and Spanish kids that came through, and we bring the whole community together. And we just created our own series and created a good time and a getaway for people to get away on a Friday, Saturday night to kind of come out, support their friends, support different efforts people were doing, and encourage the kids to continue to do whatever it is that makes you happy, whatever it is you want to do at the end of the day. Because nowadays, one of the things I feel like, and I think I come a little bit more from Jineea's side, where I'm a little bit more of, I classify myself as a independent conservative, not a Republican, not a Democrat. I got my own mind, my own thoughts, and I find that I fall on both sides of the aisle depending on what issue we're actually talking about. But nowadays, I feel like, especially when you watch the media, for Black and brown kids, there's a lot of people are being told that they can't do something, or given reasons why they can't accomplish something or why they can't do something. And I'm very fortunate to have come up in a family where, although I didn't grow up with a father, I had strong uncles and cousins around me that always pushed me to be better, always told me that I could do whatever I want at the end of the day. And nowadays, that's exactly what we're doing, to be honest with you. So I just think just encouraging the kids, just encouraging the youth, even if it's just a simple conversation, anytime you get a chance to do that will make all the difference in the world. And we just got to continue to do that and show them through example.
Love it. Yeah, if y'all could just say something real quick, but I think we're...
Yeah, so let me just say,
Go ahead.
The panel's gonna be here for a second. I need to get Reverend and Master P in here, so if you have questions for this panel, I'm sure that you do. We can have the questions in a few minutes, if that's okay. We're scheduled to wrap up here at 6 o'clock. So, we have some time. So if the panelists, could you guys take a seat so I can introduce and give out some awards really quick?
And then we'll reconvene after P and Rev have their conversation, their one-on-one.
So I just wanted to say, again, thank you to everybody for coming. How'd you like the panelists in the panel? Can you give them a round of applause?
Yeah, please.
Real information, next level hip hop. We level up. We got to take it to the next level. So before I bring in Master P and Reverend, I wanted to thank some people, because every year we've been here for the last 10 years with the Rainbow Push. We started our first push hip hop, the business of hip hop, in 2010, and we did a town hall in 2009. And the push has welcomed us from the beginning till now, but there's been some people with me throughout these 10 years that I have to give them a piece of our thanks. And so let me first, can Wayne Winston come up to the front, please?
Wayne. Yes. My brother, you playing.
So Wayne has been an active member of the Hip Hop Union from the beginning. Thank you, Wayne, 10 years. It says, what the box says, it's a keepsake. I said it's a man box. I don't know if they have man boxes yet, but this is a man box. And so somebody who has been with me every step of the way, Mr. Manny Ayala, this is my backbone. Mr. Alize Jones, can you please join the stage?
Man box. I love it, man. I love it. This is really dope. Put your money in there.
Mr. Rob Swartz, can you please join us?
Wow.
And Mr. John Mitchell, thank you for your 10 years of dedication to the Hip Hop Union. It's your man box. And our 2019 living legend, Mr. Master P, Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr.
How's everybody? Hello, everybody. Hello. Yeah. Jonathan, come up here, please. This is a very historic moment for us as Master P and I have a dialogue about where we are and where we are going. It's important that you who are communicators through your music translate the struggle of our time in real time. I remember Dr. King, Master P, was talking about the Vietnam War. And the more he talked, the smaller the crowds got. No one wanted to hear what he had to say. McGee came up with what's going on and took off. Music is power. For about 15 years, John Conyers tried to do the King holiday. He got no takers. It's just John Conyers trying to do something that can't be done. Stevie Wonder did Happy Birthday, Dr. King. It took off. There's power in the mastery of music, and Master P has mastered that science. Also, this is the 400th year of our being here. We came in 1619. It's now 2019. The Declaration of Independence was 1776. We were here 157 years, labor without wages for 157 years, and then on to 1862, 244 years of slavery. First stage of our, say the first stage, repeat, the first stage of our struggle was to end legal slavery. Second stage was to end Jim Crow, where 5,000 blacks were lynched without one conviction. Stage 3, the right to vote. We're out of slavery, out of Jim Crow, have the right to vote. Now we demand our share of capital. We return to Wall Street, the capital, industry, technology, and deal flow. Capital, industry, technology, and deal flow. Put your hands together. Oh, my son Jonathan up here to sit with Master P, and Jonathan just came back from India on giving a series of gun lectures. Give Jonathan a big hand. We want to do, you've already had the panel we're operating tonight. We have our gala at 7 o'clock, and Layla Hathaway is supplying the music tonight. So if you want to hear some of that, for all we know and stuff like that, come back and hear a little, hear a little Layla Hathaway tonight at 7 o'clock. I cannot tell you how grateful we are to UP for coming to be with us today and showing your love for the people. Yeah. Give him another big hand. Several basic concerns that Master P represents and generates our spirit. Many of the great singing artists of our time never had the masters to their own records. There are those who believe that Sam Cooke was killed because he was demanding the masters his own records. When Ray Charles began to do his own records, he faced bitter resistance. But they paved the way to knock the doors down. One thing about it, if you see a turtle on top of a 20-foot pole, know he didn't get there by himself. So if you see a turtle on top of a 20-foot pole, know the turtle did not get there by himself. Can I get a witness?
Yeah.
And I was with some athletes the other day who think they're negotiating. When Jack Robinson broke into baseball, they just had a chance. There were 3 leagues: White League, Black League, and Caribbean League. And he had a chance to play. Kurt Flood, who was an all-star center fielder, they wanted to sell him to New York. He would not be sold. He used the 13th Amendment. He won the lawsuit. He also lost his place in baseball. Second. So the reason players all over the world today can negotiate free agency based upon their worth in the marketplace, not determined by the owner of the team because of Kurt Flood. Likewise, we had a lot about one and done guys go to Kentucky for a year, play basketball, and go pro. Or they come out of high school and go pro. Spencer Haywood demanded the right to go to pro as soon as he could qualify for the pro teams. He faced the ball and the resistance as well. So today, the reason players can play as early as they're qualified to play because of Spencer Haywood. Whenever we stand up and fight back, good things come our way. We've never lost a battle that we fought. Never won a battle unless we fought. Put your hands together like you mean it. Makes sense to you. Master, how did you get started in music?
Well, I started selling music out the trunk of my car, and a lot of people told me I couldn't do it. I was from the South at that time. Some of the biggest artists in the world was from the West Coast and the East Coast. And you had the biggest Smalls, you had the Tupac. And I just was a kid that had a vision and a dream, and saying that one day I was gonna put my neighborhood, my community on the map. And as I got closer to my dreams and started selling a couple records locally, I got approached by Jineea, and he told me he had $1 million for me. So I'm a kid from the projects. I only had $500 in my pocket, and I turned down $1 million from Jineea. And
say that one more time.
I turned down $1 million from Jineea. He had Bad Boy, he had Death Row at the time, and he told me if he had me, he'll have the streets. And I said to myself, if this white guy that don't know me is gonna offer me $1 million, how much am I really worth?
Yep, there you go.
And at the time, I only had $500 in my pocket. So I got my brother with me, and he said, man, take the money, we're gonna be millionaires. And I said, by me understanding who I am and saying to myself that, and I asked my brother one question, because we was about to fight that day. He was like, man, take the money. we going back to the projects. He asked me, how much money you got in your pocket? I said, I got $500. He said, and we gonna go back to the project. We called Southwest Airlines. That's when they had the peanuts at the time. So I'm like, he like, man, look, take the $1 million and we're gonna go take over the hood. I said, nah, man. What I'm gonna do is, and the only reason we didn't fight on the plane, I said, look, if that white man offered me $1 million, how much you think I'm worth? 10, 20, 30, 40? He started thinking about it, and he got quiet, and he sit down. We flew all the way back home to New Orleans, and I started realizing, man, my self-worth, that somebody that didn't know me, and I started thinking about the Michael Jordan deal, and I kept telling myself, you know, Michael Jordan sold his name, he sold his rights for $1 million. I can't do that. I'm going back to the project where I live with 16 people in a 3-bedroom project. And so I said, I want to take my grandmother out of here, and before I go do that, I want to do it on my own. I want to do it independently so I could take everybody out of the projects.
P, did they think that you were out of your mind?
They thought I was crazy. So Jineea told me I'd never get a deal. You know, he said, I know everybody, you'll never get a deal after this if you don't take this. And I said one thing, you know, I believe in that man up above. Like, I'm not going to sit around and you're not going to stop me. You know, they say God will make them, your enemies your footstool. And, you know, a couple years later, you know, I sit at the table where they had to respect me to where I named my company No Limit. I call myself Master P because I'm a master of what I do. And I ended up selling over 100 million records and being from the projects. So,
how long did it take you to develop your style and feel secure in the style you had cultivated?
But it took me years. It wasn't an overnight process. But I realized what the bigger picture was. So what's crazy, I went back home. So I only had $500. Then I meet Michael Jackson, attorney. And he said, if I'm going to sit down and talk to you, son, I'm 19 years old. He said, I'm going to sit down and talk to you, son. It's going to cost you $25,000. I'm like, man, where am I going to get $25,000 from? And so I started selling the CDs out the trunk of my car. And I went from New York to Chicago to Texas, selling CDs out the trunk of my car. And I raised up enough money, and I went back to Michael Jackson, the attorney. I said, mister, I had a $25,000. He said, come on to Hollywood. I'm going to tell you what you could do. I'm going to tell you a deal you could get bigger than Michael Jackson. He said, at that time, Michael Jackson was getting 22% of record. He said, there's one deal that no black man has ever received, is a distribution deal where you get 85% and the record company get 15%. But you're going to need $200,000 for marketing money. I said, man, I just gave you $25,000 to tell me that I'm going to need $200,000. So went back home, started selling my CDs out the trunk of my car again, and I raised the money. And so a year later, Priority Records came at me, and they said, we want to give you a deal. I said, is it a distribution deal? They said, what you know about a distribution? I said, I want 85% and y'all get 15%, and I got $200,000. And they said, well, if you got $200,000, we're going to give you that deal. And I ended up saving my money up from selling the CDs and the cassettes out the trunk of my car. I gave them the money. They said, look, now, we don't think you're going to sell that many records. He said, what's the name of your album? Because everything was black back then. Everybody wore black, NWA, Tupac, everybody wore black. So I said, name my album going to be Mr. Ice Cream Man, and I'm going to wear a white suit. He said, you crazy. Nobody's going to buy into that, but he didn't know that I was already marketing and going all around the U.S., just, you know, passing my CDs out. And he said, I don't know how good you're going to do, but if you make your money back, we'll be good. Man, God is good. I put my record out. He said, you're probably going to sell 6,000 units. That'll be good. I put the Ice Cream Man out. The first week we did over 50,000. Next week, 100,000, 200, 500, then 1 million. The album went platinum. He said that never seen nothing like that before.
Yeah, how did you grow your business? I mean, how did you learn to skill of conducting your business affairs?
So people don't know, at 19, I moved to Richmond, California, and No Limit started out as a retail store. I started opening up as a mom and pop store. And so that's how I met a lot of the artists and seeing what they was doing. And as I built that brand, I knew what the customers wanted. And so they wanted more for their money. So when these guys was putting out 6 and 12 songs, I was putting out 18 and 22 songs. I was calling it a 2-for-1. So I was giving the customers more for their money. And just by being in that store and learning the business, so people don't know, you really have to learn your business if you really want to be successful. And it took a lot of time. It took a lot of, sacrificing to say that I have to spend time at what I love. And I realized I wasn't in it for the money.
What did you sacrifice?
Well, I sacrificed my time away from my family. The money that I had to pay employees. So many nights I had to pay employees when I didn't get paid. So I was sleeping in the back of my store. I had nowhere to stay. So, but I used that store as, this is my hub. This is what's going to get me out the ghetto.
Say suffering and sacrifice breeds character. Character breeds faith. In the end, faith will prevail. If it's worth having, it's worth working for. Put your hands together. That makes one thing he said, he saved his money. Said, if I spend more than I make, and vote less than I can, I'm not making sense. If I spend more than I have, and go on credit, Become a credit card slave.
I'm a credit card
I am
slave.
not.
I am not.
Making sense.
Making sense.
Now put your hand together on that. Since you've been in this and you moved to another level of distribution, how many records or albums have you sold?
So today I've sold over 100 million records.
I ain't got nothing else to say.
No, I had, people don't know, like, so when I first got into the business, they told me that I can't put that many records out at one time. And, you know, I ended up having 20 records on the top 200 Billboard charts at one time, which never been done at one time for an independent company. And to be able to, you know, I just signed a big deal with Lionsgate to do my life story. To be able to be alive and to be able to tell your story is just a blessing. So, you know, y'all keep chasing y'all dreams and y'all goals. I mean, I did it. I know you guys could do it. And people don't realize discipline. So it's all about discipline. It's all about faith. And it's all about doing what you believe. But I never work for money. I tell people all the time, I make money, but I don't work for money. You got to do what you love. And, you know, my whole thing was I want to take my people out of bad environment. So that's what motivated me to where, you know, those stomach pains, growing up in the project, not having nothing, living with all those people. So I never had a bed till I was 18, till I went to college to play basketball. So, but I didn't get angry or upset. That motivated me to say, I'm going to take my grandmother out the projects. I need to do something. So the sacrifices also is I had to say no to stuff like drugs. I had that around me and my family. You know, I had to say I want to break those negative stereotypes, and that's what I wanted to do. I say I would rather get high on making some money than get high on getting high. Right. You know, so yeah.
Well, the point is here is that he has defied the stereotype of gangster and drugs. It's a gangster, a special place, for gangsters, in the jail, on their way, to the graveyard, special place, for drug addicts, hospital, on their way, to the graveyard, sobriety, suffering, and sacrifice, are keys to the kingdom. Put your hand together one more time. Since you developed this, how many other artists can you recall you've helped get in the business and kind of bring them into the scheme of things?
Yeah, a lot. I helped from Snoop Dogg to Mystical, Silk, Mia, Fiend, C, Silk the Shocker. Mia X, Romeo, man, I could go on and on and on. It's a lot. Like Soulja Slim. 50 Cent, yeah, I did the 50 Cent tour. People don't know when 50 Cent first came out. I'm the guy that paid for his tour. Like, I believed in him when nobody else did. So even Snoop, at that time where nobody believed in Snoop and thought his career was over, he signed with me and we ended up selling millions of records. So to the day, you know, we are still friends. We are still doing, you know, big projects together. So yeah, it's all about saying that I don't want to be on a mountain by myself. And I tell people when you come to No Limit, it's like a university. I want you to graduate. I want you to go be businessmen. I want you to give back to the community. I want you to do your part. So I've been helping these kids in my community. We have a basketball program, the P. Miller Ballers in Cal Supreme. We've been doing that for over 19 years, and we done put some of the top players in the NBA from DeMar DeRozan, Brandon Jennings, Lance Stevenson, Ryan Boatwright, just to name a few. So, and I've been having these guys since they was in the 7th grade through this program, teaching African-American black men how to be more than just basketball. So, you know, those are the type of things that incite me, that makes me keep giving back and keep being in the community. You know, just last week, a guy asked me, well, why do you keep doing this stuff for kids in the hood? I said, because I was once one of those kids. Right. And I tell these kids, I say, y'all don't owe me nothing. All y'all got to do is promise me if one of y'all make it, y'all going to keep coming back and help. So that's what it's about.
Where did you go to college to play basketball?
Well, you know, for me, I consider myself a life coach now. My coach used to come to the project, pick me up, put me on this AAU team, showed me the world, so my vision was bigger. And that's what I want to do for these kids. So I think that's what drove me to play basketball. They got me a scholarship to go to college. So where my education...
Where'd you go?
I went to the University of Houston. So I went to the University of Houston. With that education, I learned business, like business communication. It was all about business for me. So I learned all the design work, colors and stuff like that. So when I opened my business, I knew how to draw and attack to consumers.
Did somebody stuff you and change your mind?
Huh?
Did somebody stuff you and change your mind? So you mentioned a few minutes ago that in addition to records, you're into movies now.
Yes.
What are you up to now?
Well, so I just finished probably be the biggest comedy of 2019. It's called I Got the Hook Up Too. So y'all know #1 was a big movie. And you know, I made Independent Filmmaker of the Year over Spike Lee with that movie. And you know, I'm wishing him well for this year that he wins something. But next year is gonna be all mine. I got the hook up too, because I want to make comment. I want to make people laugh. I feel like we're being too serious. I want that. So I have John Witherspoon, Cheryl Underwood. I mean, me and AJ, we Black and Blue, we back. So you guys are gonna see that real soon, June 28th. That movie's coming out. That's funded by us. We did it all on our own. We didn't sit around and wait on Hollywood. We was able to break. We able to break new up-and-coming talent like a DC Young Fly, P.O. Fat Boy. So we able to put them with all these Hollywood stars and break them in a movie, which never been done in a. I haven't seen it yet, to where we put the old and the new and mix it up. So I think that we're going to change the game with this. Even on social media, we have over 200 million followers with the actors and actresses in this movie. So this is a new way to sell and market movies that I started on my own. I wanted to build it through a social media perspective.
Now, what are you up to now?
Well, I'm coaching right now. I got my kids, both of my boys. I got one in the 7th grade, one in the 10th grade. So I just love coaching. When I'm not making movies, I'm on the road with them. I'm a basketball coach, so that's what I'm doing.
How many artists in the room? Artists in the room? Raise your hand, artists. What would you like to leave with them, P?
Yeah, so my thing to you guys, don't do this for the money. Do it because you love it. Because if you do it because you love it, the money is going to come. That's right. And study your business. This is your business. Don't let nobody shortchange you on this or tell you. You know, somebody can't tell you right from wrong if you study it. It's so much stuff on social media now. You guys could go on a computer, you pull up what you want to learn about the industry. Go in there sharp. Go in there before you do a deal. And I'm going to tell you one thing I want to leave with you guys. Never do a deal desperate. And that's what I learned in my career. If you're desperate, do not do that deal. You know, because they know that. They could see it. When you come in there and say, hey, I'm going to give you a check for $50,000. Oh, I need to, you know, you get to pay your bills. Well, I sign that. Or I give him $20,000 now.
So a hungry man shouldn't go grocery shopping?
No. and you know, you guys, I mean, that's the truth. One thing that helped me, like I'm not afraid to pray on what I'm doing and give it to God. I always ask him, I say, man, put me around the right people. Put me in the right business. It's not about me no more. I put him first. So I was doing some stuff in Louisville in the Ali Center, and man, the things that Ali was able to accomplish in his career, you know, I was just inspired, you know, walking through that place, and it reminds me of you, like all the things that you do and the credit that you don't get, to where this man is a leader. He's a hero for us, and that's why I'm here. You know, I was filming, so I'm like, man, Mr. Jackson said I need to come down there. This is history. You don't get this. I gotta go. You know, people, This is the wisdom for us. Like you can't disrespect this. This is real for me, and that's why I'm here. And you guys should be able to appreciate that if it wasn't people like this fighting for us in the community and everything that he has done for us, I mean, we wouldn't be able to be, where we hit. And that's what makes me fight, saying, you know what, Pete, you got to keep this going. You got to get out here and do your part. And I just want to thank you, my brother, for real.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You ever help in the old men who were poor and halfway pitiful? I'm talking about myself here. What should other artists do to help our people? And from your point, in terms of giving back and do to help our people, what should they do?
Well, I'm telling you guys, the more you make, the more you give. Because we can't help our people if we don't come back and do what we need to do. Say it again. If we don't come back and do what we need to do, we can't help our people. We need to help us. That's right. They are not going to help us. Like, I don't care what you think or what you say, they are not going to help us, and they definitely don't want to see this. So we got to unite together and do what we got to do for us. That's how I see it. I'm going to keep fighting. I keep coming up with product. I keep doing things to make money to be able to go back and help us. That's basically what it's about with me. We can't take this with us. So it's all about doing your part. And I feel like if I keep on doing what I need to do, then I'm going to be able to help as many people as I could help. And if I get the other entertainers and pro athletes to do the same thing, I feel like we're going to help us.
And there was a song many years ago by the Dixon Hummingbirds called "I'll Keep on Living After I Die."
Yeah.
And I think about when Dr. King was in jail in Birmingham, you just thought that yesterday Bernie Sanders, I'm running president, they gave him $6 million in 3 or 4 hours. Belafonte had to put on a fundraiser in his house to bail Dr. King out of jail.
Yeah.
But Belafonte's in his 90s now.
Yeah.
So Belafonte
still lives. Still lives.
He lives.
He lives
beyond his career.
His career.
He invested.
He invested
in the people.
In people.
Now he gets the return.
He gets the return.
In his own lifetime.
His own lifetime.
Watching the joy.
Watching the joy.
Of his sacrifice.
Of his sacrifice.
Stevie likewise made the same commitment to focus on music, not just on money. And at the darkest hours, Stevie Wonder was always there. Aretha Franklin. I remember we were in Atlanta at the Hyatt Hotel in 1967. And the second group to have a convention at Dr. King, Sidney Poitier spoke that night. Aretha sang. And she never stopped giving. So she never stopped giving. And God never stopped giving.
God never stopped
giving. No matter how hard you try.
No matter how hard you try.
You can't beat God given.
You can't beat God.
Put your hands together on that a little bit. Now, I'm gonna lean on P. I'm gonna ask about 3 questions from somebody. Now, y'all, the difference. Say what? I want you to say straight line, hook. No, no, straight line. Say straight line.
Straight line
is an exclamation point.
Exclamation point.
This is a question mark.
This is a question mark.
So we're only dealing with
question.
Next. Come on, somebody.
Anybody have any questions?
Hello. I'd like to first thank both of y'all for coming in. And how can you set up another business so that everybody could donate or invest nickels and dimes, so that everybody can invest thousands. But those who are fortunate, I think, you've shown and proved that from your actions and from the things, we need to open up our own investment things so that everybody could put $500,000, whatever, to make it.
Yeah, the thing about it, people got to realize that I started with nothing. So I know a lot of people think that it takes a lot of money, and I'm definitely open to build something for us. And I'm definitely open to put something together. I'm working on it now with like a financial team to where we could start controlling, You know, even when this movie that I just created, it's not just about fun and laugh. It's about gentrification, how we're losing everything and they're taking everything from us. So we definitely have to, you know, even through these laughing, we're going to learn something and leave out that movie theater. You know, I'm going to put something on your mind saying we have to start owning things. And so we have to start believing in us also if we're going to be successful. All right?
Let me give you a case in point about values. Say values.
Values.
Lead to value. Your values make you valuable.
Make you valuable.
When I was a kid growing up in South Carolina, the ultimate hero was Jackie Robinson. I mean, there was no NFL at that, no NBA. And Jack broke in, segregation was legal. He said it in 1941, before Miss Park said it in 1955. He refused to go to the back of the bus on the military base at that time. And Jackie was court-martialed. Highly principled. They tried to sell him, he quit the game. Highly principled guy. Said principles matter. Principles matter. I went to jail July 17, 1960, trying to use the public library. My father had been in World War II, came back home, black soldiers. Had to sit behind Nazis on American military bases. Did not give up. We therefore can never surrender. We must not surrender to drugs and violence and self-destruction. You know, Trump talking about building that wall between us and Mexico. What's driving drugs is not the border, it's appetite. And people weren't buying it, wouldn't be no market for it, right? Yeah. So America is the most lucrative market, drug selling in the world. Until we change our appetites, no wall can stand between us and getting high. If you get real high, you never get low. Can I get a witness here? Next question.
Quick question for you. As far as entrepreneur, and I know you have a lot of companies that you started, what do you feel was your biggest accomplishment and your worst accomplishment as far as investing in outside businesses that you started?
Yeah, I think my biggest accomplishment has been No Limit Records and Films. And then, you know, the worst thing for me is things that I didn't love but just did it for money. Like, you know, other people coming up with things that really didn't matter to me. I'm just thinking like, okay, how can I do this? That's what I was saying to everybody today. You got to love what you're doing. So the things that I didn't love, I didn't know nothing about, I've always lost on it. Yeah.
Dr. King finished high school at 15. He finished college at 19. Yeah. He got a seminary degree at 22 and his PhD at 26. Willing to die that we might live. So Dr. King died that we might live. So we might live. He will live as long as we remember him. We'll never forget. He lives beyond the grave. Because he was selfless, sacrificial, and suffered for a principle higher than himself. No, y'all turn that stuff I'm talking no record, not give me the royalties now. Next.
Master P, thank you for all that you do. Quick question. Would you be willing to lead the charge among all our black professional athletes to pool their money into opening up black banks?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to start that, sir?
So my thing is, you know, knowing these athletes, if they have this, it says about changing your mindset. If they have the right mindset, we can control a lot of things. Because, you know, even I told this today to some sports people. I said, what about the people that just help you get to where you are, like your mom or your dad? We give 10% of our money to financial advisors and agents, but we forget the people that help us get there. You know, I've never seen too many athletes say, I give 10% to my mom or my dad, the person that helps me get there. So imagine if we took a 10% or something like that and invest in our own banks and stuff like that. Where will we be? But we have to change that mindset because they turn us against us once we get the money. You know, that we don't need each other. So I think we're going to have to start programming the younger athletes before they get there. because the older ones, once they get there, they know it all. You know, so yeah, I'm definitely open for that. All right.
You see, one of the things we brought the Jack Robinson story up was because we had Don Newcomb died yesterday, great baseball pitcher.
Yeah.
And we had Jack Robinson, Don Newcomb, and Campanella. Yankees had an all-white team. They would beat us every year some kind of way. In '65, we had the chance to beat the Yankees. I mean, with Koufax and Drysdale pitching back-to-back. And Koufax wouldn't open the World Series game because of his religion. His value was bigger than the opening game of the World Series. There's a verse in the Bible, Exodus 13:3, so remember this day when God put his hand and saved us from slavery. Now, to appreciate that is to appreciate people who are still fighting to break change down. And I can't help but admire the artists who gave of their time and their talents. And I've never seen an artist who gave his time and talent who didn't get back more than he put in. Yeah. Next.
Hi, my name is Erica Collins. My question is for Master P. There seems to be a movement in blockchain and disruptive technology to give more power back to the artists themselves. I just ran across an app where individuals can own the copyrights, almost in like a market. Are you working on any movements or any programs or projects involving that?
Well, my thing right now, when you talk about apps and dealing with things like that, I'm building an app right now just about giving back. So I just feel like for me, I'm at another place in my life to where I want to be able to help foundations and things like that. So we're building the app to do that. But for as me on the music thing, I feel like you're going to have to know your business in the music. To make money in music now, you have to tour. So a lot of these guys don't realize that it's all about getting a hit record and then doing the touring. It's not like when I was in the game to where it was all about selling records. So now it's about the touring. So, I mean, if I'm going to do something on the music side, it'll probably be on the touring side.
Next.
Reverend.
Sir, you last, okay? Quick.
Reverend, I have a straight line from a legend.
Yeah. I just wanted to say this, what you said earlier about the banks. You know, I want to say this, and it's very important. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. The attitude is your longitude. You're right. In terms of those banks and what have you,
yep.
And those sports figures that makes millions and millions of dollars but don't give back, you got to change the way you look at. They got to change the way they look at things.
Tell them the business you're in so they just know who you are.
Well, I'm in publishing. I published Today's Black Woman, Black Men, and Hype Hair. I've worked with Bernard Bronner on Upscale Magazine. I gave back. I give back. I help young folks, okay, young models, young designers. I give them the right attitude and the right to take it to the longitude. And that's what life is all about today, taking time to give back. All right? And that's what we don't do. And that's why we got a Trump in office, because we don't give back and we don't think about the next person, okay? Attitude. Thank you very much.
That was our 2017 living legend, Mr. John Blassingame. Thank you, Mr. Blassingame.
How you doing? I appreciate the opportunity, Jineea. I brought some gifts for Reverend Jesse James and Master P. I'm an independent. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry. Paul South. I brought some gifts and stuff like that for y'all. You know, like basically, I appreciate the opportunity and the knowledge that y'all giving back and everything like that. Everything y'all saying is so inspiring. You know what I'm saying? And coming out the trunk of the car like Master P. I'm a vendor on 125th. Like I really push my brand. This is, like, as you can see, pushing the clothing line. It's all about consciousness and different things of that nature. I already plan on giving back, and I ain't even where I'm supposed to be. Do a program called Megastar Brand Kids, you know what I'm saying? And I just want to say, you know, God bless everybody here, you know what I'm saying, on their business endeavors.
Thank you.
You know, on this giving back theme, a honeybee, there are no homeless, honeybees. There are no divorced honeybees. Honeybee get nectar from a flower. When the honeybee gets nectar, that's its situation. The honeybee does not just fly away. So you got mine, you got yours to get. So the honeybee drops pollen, where it picks up nectar. So the honeybee drops pollen, where it picked up nectar, so the flower can regenerate. The flower dies, the honeybee dies. We should at least have honeybee sense. Feed the flower that you rob. Y'all got
I just want to say also thank you to Master P and to Reverend Jesse Jackson. Thank you for this opportunity and speaking to us today. My name is Dr. Mary Kay Holmes. I'm actually a #1 international best-selling author. I wrote a book about my life. And I want to ask you something about breaking into the independent film industry. And so the story about my life, it was so popular that I'm writing a second book called From Prostitute to Preacher, because now I'm a first lady and a pastor, but I'm a former prostitute and dancer. And so it's something that I actually have a playwright writing a play about my life, but I want to find out from you, what advice would you give to someone that's looking to break into not only having stage plays done, but also into the independent film industry?
Yeah, so right now is a good time in the film business, because with all the different options to put your projects through. So this is a good time to, you know, whether you want to take it Netflix, Amazon's, take it to the big screen, take it to BET doing films now, you know, creating this movie on your own and then saying, you know what, for distribution, I could own this and I could take it to multi-carriers. So this is a good time. I think the first thing is getting the script done. So other people can look at it, get directors to look at it, and go from there.
Next.
Yes, hello, thank you. I want to say God bless to Reverend Jesse Jackson and to Master P. My name is Lioness Roars, and I am an entrepreneur. I'm a radio personality host / TV that's making it in this business. I have faith in what I do. My name is spiritual, gave to me through vision, and my brand, Wine Glasses Up, mean enjoy life, mean we fellowshipping together. What I'm doing out here now is speaking about enjoying life, appreciating life, and I don't do any drama. So basically, I don't do interviews, I like to get testimonies.
Yeah.
So what y'all spoke up here today was testimonies, and I've been filming that on my phone. So what advice would you have for me as a woman in this business? Because it's very hard for a woman in this business.
Yeah, but you know, like now, women are actually getting looked at the right way. So just keep going, breaking down those doors. Like you said, Dr. Martin Luther King already paved the way for us as people. And I think, you know, women now, you guys are definitely at the forefront now where people want to see successful women in business. So you guys don't hold your head down. Go kick those doors in and keep going. Keep doing what you do. And you definitely, it's there. It's you guys' time.
Thank you.
All right.
Last two.
Yes.
Good evening, Reverend. I thank you for setting up this program today. Now, my name is Soji Adeyemi, and what I just want to say is I want to talk about giving back. I'm a civil engineer, and I work in the construction business. What I found out in New York was that out of the contracts that is supposed to be given to the minorities, about 55% of it, we only get about 2% of it. And I found out that the major problem responsible for this is because we don't have minorities in the management level, meaning the estimators, the engineers, and the architects. So I started doing a training program to train young men from who are black minorities, Black and Spanish, from the age of 20 to 40. I've been training some of those, about 12 of them now, for the past 6 months. They will be graduating in March 16. Now, one of the guys that I trained last year, he was making $10,000. Yeah, I'm gonna ask the question now. I just want him to understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
He was working at a restaurant making 10,000. After I trained him, he became an estimator. Estimating the construction of buildings, he's making 90,000 now. Now, this program is so good, and I'm trying to expand it nationwide, where I can train black folks who are making $10,000 to move to management position without college degree. These are 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds making 90,000. When they see me on the street, they are so joyous, and I said, I trained you, you are making this money. If I should drop that today, you'll continue this program. Now, my biggest question is this.
Come on, boy.
How can we set up a training platform to expand training to people in technology, in computer science, in construction estimating, and in your business? How can we do this?
Next.
All right, so Master P, first of all, Jesse Jackson, my second time coming to your events, and I appreciate every time you do this. Master P, I wanted to tell you, so I have a company called Artist Financial Program where we basically help artists get access to capital and give them money for real estate development and advance their money towards their career, et cetera, et cetera. We utilize a lot of your groundwork, like videos of things you said in the past, as like promotional information to get artists to understand the value of ownership. So I wanted to know two things. One, what's the possibility of having you on a podcast to talk to these artists directly and where we film it, audio, et cetera? And the second thing is we're doing an event in the Cayman Islands on April 10th, where we have like a bunch of people, royalty and a lot of people there. And I want to know what's the possibility of having you speak at that event as well.
So I guess we'll hook you up with, she'll get you to my people and see, you know, that's a time thing. April 10th is quick. So, you know, maybe not this year, but maybe next time, but we'll figure it out. Let's connect and let's go from there.
Look, Jineea, hold your hand up. Jineea made this event happen. Now, in Jineea's other life, Jineea was an All-American basketball player. She got 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds. 1,000. Give a big hand.
Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame.
That's why I'm asking Pete doing record. He didn't get no 1,000 up.
Come on now, I'm about to pull my stats up now. Now I'm proud of you. You know, like you done something amazing, especially in sports, because it's a tough sport. People don't realize basketball is that challenging and all the hard work that it takes to go out there every day and prepare. I mean, I played in the NBA, so I know, like it's tough. So, you know.
And I'm just going to shameless plug my mom right there, because she's the one who held me down. So thank you. So again, thank you, everyone. We're going to take a couple pictures, and we're going to wrap up, right, Ruff?
Yeah, I want us to have prayer before we go.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Let's stand and join hands. Reverend, come on up here. Come on up here, Pastor. Yeah. So God, we accept you as the supreme power. Thank you for blessing us, allowing us to sleep last night and wake up today. It was not an alarm clock that woke us up. You woke us up today. For that, we are grateful. We are not perfect, but we try our best against the odds. We fall down, we get back up again because your mercy sustains us and your love lifts us. We fall down, we don't stay down on the ground because the ground is no place for champions. The ground is no place for champions. So search our hearts and know our way. If there be anything within us that shouldn't be, take it out and make us better, never bitter. Thank you for Master P today, for his vision, for using him as an instrument of your peace letting him be a light in darkness, but letting him be a light to his family and to all of us. We thank you and bless the Rainbow Pushers. We seek to bring light and heat where it matters. Amen.
Amen.